It's the time of the season when love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy, and let me try with pleasured hands to take you in the sun to promised lands, to show you everyone. It's the time of the season for loving. What's your name? Who's your daddy? Is he rich like me? Has he take us anytime to show you what you need to live? Tell it to me slowly, tell you why I really want to know. It's the time of the season for loving. What's your name? Who's your daddy? Is he rich like me? Has he taken anytime to show you what you need to live? Tell it to me slowly, tell you why I really want to know. It's the time of the season for loving.
All right, okay. It's gonna start over.
It's the time.
That's my song. Good morning, happy Monday. All right, so we're gonna have our just a regular discussion. We've had this conversation a lot of times. Hello, good morning, Kinsley's mommy. Hello, good morning. Thank you for coming. Hey, Natalie. Hello, morning. Um, so the only way to beat poverty, well, I guess if you're lucky, some kind of 1 in a million chance, you know. Eh, I don't know. Look at Hollywood. Go look around California. Go look on Skid Row. I didn't even know a Skid Row existed. But there's a. I think that there's a lot of people that have these broken dreams, and they think, oh my goodness, if I work really, really hard. But that's not the truth. If you work hard and you labor, there's nothing wrong with being in a labor position. There's people that beat poverty by building houses, and doing things with their hands. So I'm not saying that, but I mean, tell that to all of the people that have that can't afford to go to college, people that work hard their whole life and they still ain't got nowhere. And, and then when they start their businesses fail within the first 6 months. Yeah, exactly. All of the rest of the people, like the very, very rich people that you see, those are those are witches. Or either they, the Rockefellers and stuff like that. I bet you they still do their rituals. Sure they do. And a lot of y'all, it's the end of the month. Y'all are dealing with it's a lot of people out there that are dealing with poverty, and I totally understand. Hell, I'm broke too. I am. So people got mad at me because they said that I said I was rich. I was only making the bare minimum where a family would be comfortable. But I guess that was rich to them, you know. So you ain't gonna do it without witchcraft. You're not, I guess, unless you go rob a bank or something, or you know, get lucky. I don't, luck is good. Having good luck is good, because having bad luck is bad. And I rather, alchemy and witchcraft, that's skill. That's not luck, that's skill. That's a connection to the divine. That's not good luck, but good luck definitely helps. So, yeah, you know, and a lot of people that are down here with us, they like to blame those rich families. And I suppose that maybe they will take advantage of whoever they can. But mainly your worst enemies are gonna be, unfortunately, your neighbors. People that are next to you. Some rich people, they are in their own little world. They in their own little world. They ain't thinking about you. It's these folk down here with us want to keep you down. And you got to be careful out there. People, the reason why they say that to you is because of jealousy. I know that's right, Kinsley's mommy. That's what's up. um, yeah, it's pretty much is what it is. Welcome to the real world. A lot of people that went to college, unless you go into the medical field, but it was people running from the medical field when that pandemic kicked in. Good Lord. And, I guess it depends on what your limitation is for the world. I mean, you know, you want a surefire way of beating poverty. I mean, it ain't gonna happen overnight, you know. Good morning, Jen. Hello. They remind me of that TV show, Sister, Sister, with the twins on there. Yeah, it's it. Even with witchcraft, it takes a while. You have to build yourself up, and just and if you build yourself up with witchcraft, I'm gonna tell you right now, why would you want to stop? Why would you? I love witchcraft. Oh, Oh, cool. Holistic psychiatrist. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I did too. It was the good old days. That's why I be telling y'all, learn your craft and stuff, you know. I'm trying to teach my kids as much about it as possible before I leave because I ain't going to be here forever. My kids, they don't like to talk about me being gone, so we don't even think about that. We don't even talk about it. But I do teach them stuff, you know, about it. It's a very good skill to have, but they claim it's evil. I guess breathing and having life is evil too. Our whole world is alchemical. Our whole world is. And so I don't understand that, boy. But they sure will, boy, they will get together and make you feel like you a piece of dirt crap walking around and you just bad and horrible. I said, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. Oh, it's amazing. It is amazing. It is, you know. And I mean, I guess if you you know, a lot of people will struggle and they'll say, "Oh, I hope I win the Powerball. I hope I win the Lotto." Or ain't gonna never happen. Now they saying in the past couple of years that the lottery is rigged. I don't think it used to be rigged. I think it's rigged now. You know, yeah, it's nothing evil about. You're right, Natalie. It's nothing evil about it at all. I think that people are kind of stuck in their ways. They won't change. And that's just what it is. You know, what else can you do? You can't really worry about those people. I know I ain't worried about nobody. I can't be worried about them people. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I don't want to leave this earth and not leave my children nothing. You know, they got to have something. And then I also want to make sure they protected, you know, just in case we got stalkers for life. Good grief. I'm not even going to get into that. Yeah, yeah. You're not going to. And it, you know, in fact, um, it's a lot of people gonna sort of, a lot of people have no choice. I'd say practicing the craft is better than breaking the law and doing some of the stuff that these people are doing. Everybody's talking about the sound of freedom. There's a prime example. But, you know, I'm not going to get into that because that's depressing. That's depressing. Yeah, I don't want to get into that. But, you know, stuff like that that goes on in the world, is that not evil? Why are we hunting witches and not them? I've asked I've asked church members and people, why are you witch hunting and you're not going after these people that are trafficking people? I'm just saying, you know. Yeah, yeah, they do. They hate it, they fear it, but they really hate you because, you know, that it's I just think that they have a, you know, it seemed like depression or something, like they depressed or something, you know, like clinically depressed or something, like they need some medication, like something done happened to the point where like they mind, like there's no what do you call that, serotonin re-upped receptors, there's no serotonin. You know, something going on. Yeah, they hunting witches out there, man. They are, which is silly. Which is silly. And I, you know, I just, It's not that I distrust everybody that is religious. I don't, but I have to ask them that question when they say that, something is evil. Oh, if you um stand up and say something, speaking out, having a voice, that's evil. All of that is evil. And it's mainly being pointed at women. And poverty affects women and children for the most part. So, I don't too much contend with patriarchal crap. I question men thoroughly about it. I do. Because they claim that they run in this. And so I'm just like, well, make it make sense to me. Because I've been stressed out to the max. And I was doing a little bit of research on the nervous system. And those of you that have like your leg fall asleep a lot, that's a sign of stress. When you've been under stress, it'll mess with your nervous system, and it'll cause your limbs to fall asleep and stuff. And all of that stuff can be healed. And I don't get it. I really don't. I know that what I don't want to hear when it comes to my spirituality is, oh, and the Lord's gonna come back, and the seals is broken, and they coming back, and he's coming back, and it's like, oh my God. Well, when he gets here, tell him to come by and see me when the Lord come back. Okay, seriously. That's it. That can be a sign of stress, of the nervous system being affected. Uh-huh. So I guess you'll have to choose between carrying on another generation of poverty or being judged by, I call them hypocrites. Honestly, yeah, I can't say that. People get angry when you're honest. They do. When they ask me, say, "Aren't you afraid of going to hell?" The the eternal infernal. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. If I did, I would do it for my children. I would do it for the people that I love. If I got to go to hell for the people that I love, I'll do it. Okay. Me too. Me too. They don't like for you to be poverty. And they really don't like for women to be poverty without men. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. I really don't. That's why I said we need to form our own secret society. You know, they don't want us to do it though. They don't. That's what I spoke about that too. And people are just really, really afraid. I'd be more afraid of the government pulling the rug from an, can you imagine you're on your housing benefits and you get your cash benefits and you get your housing, your cash, and your food stamps. There's always a possibility of those things being cut off. And I see it coming, y'all. I hate to say it. You need to start preparing yourself now. I think that's gonna be when the Lord come back. That's gonna be equivalent to it. That's gonna be awful. They start cutting people off of their benefits and stuff. You got 6 months to get off of this. We're gonna cut it down drastically. They already working it over. They working it in Florida. that God that is gonna trickle down, and women are gonna have to be the voice on that. We can save ourselves. I think it's all happening for a reason. You know, they can pull the rug up underneath you anytime, and you got to be prepared for it. It's like a doomsday preparation. Everybody want to conserve water and canned goods, and that's good for you to do that. It is, but when it comes to doomsday, that's gonna be the doomsday. Is when they cut that stuff off, and I believe that they are gonna do it. Don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling y'all the truth. They can do it at any moment that they want, that they see fit. They've already done some test runs of it to see what would happen. A bunch of angry, hungry people. Because, we don't. I just, I do I feel that society is way too codependent on the government? Sometimes. Sometimes I do. So you want to prepare yourself for that. Seriously. And, that doesn't mean that you have to become a Satanist, but, you really need to, when it comes to beating poverty, um, you have to know the foundation of it. How do you beat it? Where did it come from? What's the link, right? How did poverty get linked to you? So that is going to force you to look at everybody. Well, you got to look at your roots. You got to look at your family first. Then you got to look at all of the people that you've dealt with, especially if you're a woman and you done had babies with these men. You know, you got to look at everybody you've been with, whether or not you broken up with them or not. And it's time to focus on that. You know, Neuralink. What's that about? I ain't never heard of that. Yeah, you got to find the link, and it's not to say that you have to destroy. Nobody's saying that you necessarily have to destroy people or harm people, but you just have to have an understanding, and and then you have to learn how to get that spirit of poverty off of you, and how to keep it off of you. And that can be difficult, you know. We can only speculate as to what's going on. As far as, how that spirit of poverty finds you. You know what I'm saying? How do you get it off of you, you know? And it's going to be witchcraft, just like I was yesterday. I was fussing. I'm not going to apologize. I'm sorry. They're the instructions that I give to my clients. I do it for a reason, you know? I do. I do it for a reason. When I tell you to do the spiritual baths, follow the instructions. I have an instructional video on here. I'll share it to my community wall. And then the Sabbats. That's how you're going to grow. The solstices. The earth begins to shift, and there's so much stuff going on, and so many people are so distracted from it. Like, for example, the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year. The fall equinox is going to be the shortest day of the year. So there will be longer nights. Okay. Something Elon Musk created to be injected inside of your brain. It's basically a brain implant. I think slave owners curse us, and you know who I mean with poverty. Um, that you know what that's a possibility, but it's an unspoken history that people really don't talk about, and that is the existence of well-to-do blacks. Every black person in America during slavery was not a slave, right? But it still affected all black people because there was discrimination after that. And I don't know, it's been a while since then, but they say that when you treat somebody like an animal, they're gonna act like one. Um, but yeah, I do think that um that's definitely a link for some people. Um, but I do think that it's a struggle. Well, first of all, poverty affects, it doesn't just affect blacks, it doesn't. But um, I believe that there's people in this world that are going to go for what they know, and there are some people that are just going to give up, and then there's some people that are going to want to stay in their comfort zone. And sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone, and you have to take risks, you know, and you have to have faith. I know that's weird to hear a witch talking about faith, but that's the truth. At least in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. That's basically what faith is belief, basically. So, you and boy, let me tell you, when you break that cycle of poverty, they gonna come for you. They gonna come for you. It's as sad as it is, they gonna come for you. Because they don't really want you to do what they were too afraid to do, right? Yep. It's not, but I think that a lot of people are genuinely afraid, but I think that it has a lot to do with change being very hard for people. Change is hard. For you, for a person to go from making 3 to 4 thousand per month to making 20 to 25,000 per month. Some people wouldn't be able to handle that change. They wouldn't even be able to manifest that kind of change because they are in their comfort zone of what is familiar as far as their life. They're in a comfort zone. And then there's some people that are movers and shakers. And it just is what it is. And I think that a lot of the people that um, are progressive, I think that they have to watch themselves because they will get upset. People will get upset. People will get, there's a lot of people that they absolutely hate, absolutely despise people that are rich and that are doing well. I've never felt that way. I've never felt that way about the rich and wealthy. And honestly, I don't understand where it comes from because the only people that have treated me poorly have been people that are not rich and wealthy, you know? So I don't understand it. And I think that wealth is defined differently by different people. It is. I feel that whatever you feel comfortable with, you know, and I think that it really takes dedication. It really does, but I believe it takes witchcraft. It does. And it's not going to change, you know. I think that there's people that are the exception to that rule. But that's just like when you look at churches and stuff. Unless it's one of those well-to-do uppity mega churches, but in the average Baptist church, the pastor of the church, the preacher of the church, he's the wealthiest. Everybody else struggling. And then, of course, with poverty breeds what? Violence. It always does. It breeds violence. So that's tough. And over here in Georgia, boy, you got to be dirt poor to get any kind of help. Over here, you got to, I mean, my goodness. So, that's the difference over here. But I think once you do start making money, zip it. Keep your lips closed. Zip it. Don't tell nobody what you got. I wouldn't. Right. Yeah. I wouldn't tell people what I got. Because if you tell people what you have, people want to take it. If they can't take it from you, they want to steal your joy to the point where you can't even enjoy those things that you have. And next thing you know, it's just things. It, you know? So, and 100,000 a year, that's good, but it was 100 grand was good in 2018. It was good then, you know. It should have increased by then. Why not? Everything else is increasing. Everything's going up. We're dealing with inflation. Exactly. Move in silence. Yep. You know, everything is going up. Everything. I think they finally lowered the price of eggs, though, y'all, which was a relief for everybody. No, eggs are a superfood and probably one of the only foods that, well, I guess they could genetically modify eggs if they use a genetically modified chicken, you know. So it's a scary possibility, and a lot of people They thought, oh, I've got a college degree. And then they go in there and they see that people that don't have college degrees are getting those jobs. And they'll tell them that they're a little too overqualified. How does that happen? A lot of people will be bewildered. They'll be like, I just don't understand it. They'll be mad and angry. How is this happening? It's called witchcraft. Okay. Don't hate the player. I guess hate the game. Don't hate witchcraft. Embrace it for real. Honestly. A lot of people they don't even go to witches to get that work done. They will go to a botanica and get some candles and go to work. And they'll be barely out of college with no experience and they'll get hired on the job. Why? Because they use witchcraft. It's not about necessarily attraction. It's not about law of attraction. It's not. It's about will and intention. Okay. And some people think that law of attraction is based upon what you look like. And that's not what law of attraction is based upon. Yeah. That's not what that is. It's and there's a difference between law of attraction and setting your intent. And then witchcraft can be kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? It can be a trip because I think that it's almost like a maze that you have to go through sometimes to get to what you, because you could have several factors holding you back from manifesting what you want. And you have to look at each of those things. You have to say, oh, okay, so I can see this right here. This is some energy coming in. It's very complex. Witchcraft is not just about saying, I affirm that this is going to happen. You see what I'm saying? That's law of attraction. That's just one portion of it, right? But witchcraft is so much more. It's not just law of attraction. It's spirit. It's not just energy manipulation. It's other things. It's things that most people don't even want to think about. They don't even want to think about it. They're like, what? This is like really tripping me out. Like, what is this? And that's when you've went through a shift. When you get to feeling like, what in the world? And it can either shift in a good way or a bad way. Paradigm shifts of reality can either be good or bad. And you want the good. And then you have to be concerned about people that are not practicing witchcraft, but these are people that have naturally born gifts to bend reality. Okay, you got to look at that. There's some people that have natural born gifts to bend the real. They're usually not manifestors. They don't manifest very well. Not like, somebody that's sitting down and doing traditional witchcraft, but they can bend the reality and trick people. See, that's, you know, in order to win. And I feel like it's two types of people in this world. It's the winners and the losers. And it's important for you to learn about that. The reason why we burn candles is not just because they smell good or they're pretty, but it's because fire creates transformations. Fire, using fire is a lot. different. It's way more different than, doing an affirmation. It's totally different. Okay. Alchemy is not just about making an affirmation. It's about using the forces. These are forces of nature that mankind cannot mess with. Okay. You think about witchcraft, you're thinking about a force of nature, using the forces of nature. And it just is what it is. It's always going to be the backbone. Witchcraft is always the backbone, even when they don't say it is. It is. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when I say reality, when I say looking at all aspects, you got to look at your adversaries and what they can do, because sometimes your adversaries, there's all sorts of spiritual types of people that you have to protect yourself from. And while they are manipulating reality, they're not necessarily considered to be witches, because typically they're manipulating reality to do some kind of harm to a person, right? You know what I'm saying? And whenever anything, I always say that unless it's something major, which I don't even think about major bad things happening. I don't think about that because, I ain't trying to bring it into existence or think it into existence. But anytime something weird happened, I can tell when even when I feel like my spell is, a ritual is taking longer to manifest, I feel like that is a deception. Anything, and this is the goals this is what's in my mind. It ain't gonna change. Anything that goes outside of my will is deception, and everybody should feel that way. As long as you're not trying to harm none. And that's why I like Wicca, but a lot of people don't like Wicca. I think it's because they feel like when you're Wiccan, you can't curse freely. And people like to curse people. But I think that as long as you are, I think a curse depends on the person. What would be happening to make you feel cursed? For me, it would be feeling out of control of my reality. To others, it would be seeing somebody that they don't like win. That would be a curse to them. So everybody doesn't think the same. Everybody doesn't think like an alchemist. Everybody doesn't, when it comes to um creating and manifesting. That, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it does take a creative mind to make a spell work. Because when you're doing a spell, you're not asking, you're commanding. When you do a spell, you're not asking, you're not, it's very different. And a lot of people have been on this worst case scenario. Have y'all noticed that it's always these worst case scenario types? It's almost like, what are you getting ready to explode at any moment? I mean, what's the issue here? It's almost like they're pulling teeth or something. It's so weird. It's kind of like, um, sometimes you have to look at several avenues. It's like layers of an onion that you have to peel back. And a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to that onion, when it comes to peeling the layers back of that onion. So, it's very difficult and people are typically not patient enough, to even benefit from witchcraft, even. People lack patience when it comes to that. And it's not to say, oh, I'm just going to be waiting forever and da da da. No, you know, as long as you have, like, for example, if you have an issue, as long as you have handled that issue from all angles, sometimes, because there could be several, sometimes even 10 different things stopping the manifestation from happening. And, I'm very, very thorough when I'm doing consultations for people, because I don't play that. I want people to know. And I always look at it from that angle. Okay. And yes, there are times when you may have people either stopping or slowing up or hindering your manifestation. It's definitely possible. It's better to do something about it than to be in denial about it. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, that person can't do that, and they can't do this, and they can't do that. But that's exactly what that person is doing. What in the world did I do? Okay, I think it's getting ready to calm down. Yeah, a lot of people be like, well, that can't stop me and da 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 da. But it does. And there's some people, it'll stop them their entire life. Because once you've dealt with it, what it will do is it will damage. Oh, God dang it. Really? Now, this was the only one of these that I did that this happened with. Wow. Will you stop it? Sorry, y'all. I got some stuff going on over here. And I'm trying to be patient. I'm at to hold on. I had to grab something real quick because should have known that was gonna happen. Where's my tongs at? So it's a lot going on in the world. A lot of things going on that you can't help with. You can't do nothing about that. But you can do something. You can do something about that those spirits of poverty, because they're real weak. They are very weak. And yes, I do feel like the pandemic was very spiritual. I do feel that too. I agree with that. And I believe that part of the a part of the pandemic was spirits of poverty. And yeah. Do I feel like God did it? No, we did it. All of us did it. Something, and who knows? But the point is surviving it and thriving, even thriving while we're dealing with that. Okay. And so that should be the focus. That's the whole point. You don't want to have to go begging nobody for nothing. You want to have it. That do I feel like we're going to eventually live in this post-apocalyptic world to where money is not going to have any value? Nope, I don't. I don't. I mean, if something like that happened, I feel like That's probably gonna be I'd say thousands. It ain't gonna change because of so many generations of people that have money, and there's going to be more to come. So it's not going to change. We're not going to be in the Zeitgeist project. It was a nice concept, it was a nice fantasy, but unfortunately it just is what it is. Okay, we got to play the hand that God dealt us. I don't know, maybe different people have different gods. I know that my gods, plural, because I'm a polytheist, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not doing that just to be, what do you call that? Defiant. How is a 40 something year old woman going to be defiant? I'm not a child. Children are defiant. I'm a grown woman. How is that being defiant? I can't stand that. And so I don't, that's one of the reasons why I can't contend with religion a lot of times, because when I do, I'm definitely looking at it through the eyes of an adult, not a child. So, no, I do not believe that witchcraft is evil. No, I do not believe that getting what you want out of life is evil. No, I don't. Oh, you're just being defiant against God. Who's God? I don't understand this, you know? And I don't have to understand it from their perspective. It's perfectly fine for you to have your own opinion. And yeah, there are going to be times when, because I can tell you, boy, especially for you, up and coming witches, man, when that mask comes off of your reality, it ain't just people wearing a mask, your whole reality is false. When you start practicing the craft, it can be very scary, because a lot of the people, not all of them, but a lot of the people that you knew, there is, the truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out of how they really feel, and what their mission was in your life, or you know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. The way people just all of a sudden change up, switch up on you. So that can be very difficult. It can be lonely. It can be lonely. And they want you to be alone. They want you to feel isolated. That is the program. They take you through this program. That's just like when it comes to gay people. They are still doing that to people. They're still doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing as if you are a witch. If you are a straight witch, they're trying to take you through a witch diversion program. They want to change it, but that's man-made, indoctrinated beliefs. That, and yeah, it can make you feel uncomfortable sometimes. You get gas and heartburn, and you just feel uncomfortable because that negative energy is being thrown at you. And especially if you come from well, I can speak from a black person's perspective. Coming from a black family, people, it will raise questions, and you kind of get to the point where you're just kind of asking everybody, like, my God, were you strictly here just to keep me from my destiny, which I feel is greater, and I feel is better than I'm not saying it's better than theirs, but it's very scary, to have everybody that kind of turn their back on you and look at you like you some freaking alien. um like you don't exist, or but a lot of y'all witches, you got your children. And I pray to God that when y'all do come out of the broom closet, which is the witch's closet, that people don't, go take you through that isolation program to where, everybody just kind of abandons you. But then to take it further, they're trying to find ways to say that you're crazy because of your spiritual beliefs. That's scary. So then they're trying to isolate you from your children. And that, my friend, is where we are going to be providing a lot of support for the witches, because that ain't right. That ain't right. Okay. And they can't just say, oh, well, you're saying you're a witch, so that automatically means that you're crazy. It's something wrong with you. That is awful, horrible in 2023 for people to look at it like that. And you're probably the sanest person in the room. Now, I'm pretty sure that you are. I know exactly how you feel. You feel like everybody trying to oppress you. All you're trying to do is commune and connect with nature. All you're trying to do is create and manifest the things that you want in life. Try to get your get what you want out of life. And there, and that is very difficult. I believe that some of y'all families or family members, maybe it could be your parents, could do that to you. It's hurtful when you say, hey, I don't have any plans of doing harm to you. And it hurts when people don't want you to empower yourself. That hurts to the core. It's very hurtful and something that you have to heal from and get over. But they had plans of hurting you. In fact, that's all they did your whole life, was hurt you. It just seemed like one big Truman show. Be walking down the street and, you know, they set you up or something. They doing the most evil. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't even thinking about that. You just thinking about your craft, and you thinking about, what you want to do with it. Some of y'all have dreams of having farms and all that stuff, and it's just like, why? Yeah. And you have to defend yourself, and they get mad at you. The more and the more you progress, the angrier they get. But if you get sick and, pass away of cancer or get killed, then they love you. But if you're flourishing and prospering, they hate you. And so this is that's the main reason why people are just like, hey, listen, I can't. And they are praying for your downfall. They are obsessed with it. It's an obsession for them, right? And that's all they think about. That's all they think about constantly, is your downfall, you losing. So you're dealing with dangerous minds, because the mind can be very powerful. And they found that out. I think that it became more and more known. Uh, when did that movie come out? The Village of the Damned, the original one, probably in the 50s or 60s. I believe that we became more self aware of what a person can do with their mind. And I think that's why they did all kind of psychiatric experiments, gave people lobotomies and stuff like that. And then, they, you know what I'm saying? And if you was powerful, you probably could handle some folk. You know what I'm saying? And so, so It's psychism. It doesn't necessarily mean psychic. Being able to manipulate something with your mind is not necessarily psychic. It's psychism. It's some kind of, and there are people out there with those abilities, and you have to learn. Okay, thank you, Kinsley's mommy. Yeah, 1960. See, I think they realized that there were people that were able to project thoughts, project ideas, even sometimes project realities. You know, and that's one of the reasons why you catch witches. They be outside burying them. Skull candles. Some people don't. Well, some people don't even burn the candles. They just take it and bury it. It's not that you're necessarily burying that person, but more so their intent towards you that they're projecting with their mind. That is a very, very real thing. Yeah, many of us can do both. Um, but I think that a lot of us are not dangerous minds. You know what I'm saying? A dangerous mind is somebody that they just, they have this movie happening in their mind constantly, constantly. And it's not they don't have negative thoughts about themselves. No, they have negative thoughts about you. Thoughts can be dangerous to you, people, and what they think about. And I think that it's connected with the moon. I believe that there's also karma involved with that. I think if you think too negatively, too much about a person, I think that people get karma from doing that, because I think the Bible describes it as, don't it describe it as impure thoughts? I believe that that's what the Bible means by that. I think that they've been knowing about that for a very long time. Yeah. Yeah. When the mind meets the spirit and meets the body, now, are people that are extremely psychic, are they able to necessarily manifest for themselves? It's a possibility, but I think that because a lot of times when I can see that, I'll see like the Eight of Swords and the Devil card in the tarot, and I'll say, wow. Because people say, well, what is it? That yeah, they can do things like that, and so you do have to keep that in mind. It is a psychic ability. It's not necessarily about telling the future or either divinating. It is about that reality being stuck in their head, and other people allowing it to be projected to them. So that's a very real thing. So you have to look out for that. And and those people are not practicing witchcraft. Those people could be devout Christians, and they just, every time they think about you, it's just something negative, and it just negative, 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 negative. And people typically know, because people will stay away from them. Like, I don't want to talk to this person because this person just has this lowered expectation in their mind, especially when it's your parents. That can be very devastating when they're constantly just seeing you as, failing or dying or something like that, or something bad happening to you. And, you know, and so I think that that has something to do with law of attraction, but also projected thoughts. And, so you do have to protect your mind. You do. And I think that that's connected to the crown chakra, which is your consciousness. You have to be careful with that. So yeah. And you got somebody homing in on you, focused on you, you better believe that they are just constantly just, they take pleasure in nothing but sitting there all day. And a person doing that really can't manifest for themselves. They're broken. They usually can't really manifest for themselves because they're so focused on other people. But that's why a lot of people do have to be careful, um with people, because they, yeah, that's the brain is witchcraft within itself, the mind, and it just depends on what a person has tapped into, which, so be careful about that, especially when you are seeing other people's thoughts and other people's visions, because there's different quadrants of your brain. There's different areas of the brain, which I'm speaking primarily about the subconscious, but it's not that the subconscious is bad, and I think that a lot of people will listen to these frequencies and they'll be thinking, "Oh, I'm worrying, I'm listening to these so I'm going to go listen to these frequencies and this is going to make it better." Uh Unless you plan on listening to them frequencies 24 hours per day, I would say to put it in something that has to do with the earth. I would say, put it in some kind of catalyst so that it can be uh concrete, instead of you just having to constantly clear your subconscious, so when your subconscious fears come out and you get work done, that is everything. That is gospel to a witch. That's the gospel. That's basically the formula. Okay. Uh, those fears that you have in your subconscious, being able to turn those fears around and to transmute them, because that's pretty much what you're doing, so that now what's in your subconscious, it's not going to be that. So I feel like the whole world globally is affecting each other on a subconscious level. So that's why it's good for you to that's why witches, we make the witch bottles, that's why we make the jars, that's why we protect our heads and stuff, you know what I'm saying. um it's very important, because I believe that that's how telepathy works. I believe that it works through the subconscious, if I'm not mistaken. You can feel free to correct me on that if you want. Okay. I like to think happy thoughts about people. And if it's somebody that I don't like, I just don't think about them at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't think about people I don't like. But and that's, you have to have control over your own mind. Like, just not even having to do with witchcraft, but just even if you're a client, you have to have control over your own mind. I don't want to control your mind, because I don't like babysitting people. But that's it, it will help you in the long run if you are in control of your consciousness and what you think about and what, you know what I'm saying? Because your subconscious can affect how you manifest. And I'm not saying that those frequencies are not good. No, I'm not saying that, because I listen to them. There's a few sophageo frequencies that I really enjoy listening to, and there's but I put work with that stuff too. I'm gonna do some spiritual work, so that it ain't just a fantasy. And I believe that that's what the Seven of Cups is about. I believe the Seven of Cups is telling you that, to where you have all of these ideas in your head, but you cannot pull it into the physical. And why can't you pull it into the physical? Why can't you turn that idea into something tangible? Why can't you turn that thought process into something? And I think that that's where witchcraft comes in. And I believe that tarot cards was created by witches. Okay. Seven of Cups, Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands. What was the other one? Seven of Cups, Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands. And what is that? What's the other one? Pentacle. The Pentacle. Okay. So, but that Seven of Cups, boy. You know, when I get that card, I know it's time to do some spiritual work when I get the Seven of Cups, because that means that um that can mean that it'll be a delay on manifesting, on it actually manifesting, because somehow it got caught up in the air. It's and so the things that you want, right? The things that you want and everything, love, money, house, whatever it is that you want, those things get stuck, and then that's when it's time to do spiritual work. And the first thing that people usually think about is other people. And sometimes you do have to think about those other people if they're trying to stop you from manifesting. And I think that a pure heart is what it requires for manifestation. And that I believe spirit will do that, because I believe that what if, ask yourself this question, what if your worst enemy ended up with millions of dollars? What if they ended up like a multi-millionaire to the point where they could literally make you disappear off the face of the earth, and they got that much freaking power? I wouldn't want a ruthless enemy to be rich. I wouldn't want it. And I don't think my spirit guides would want it either. I don't even think spirit would let it happen. Right. But what if somebody just didn't like you and was just obsessed with you, and now they got millions of dollars, and they can just pay somebody a cool million to knock you off or whatever? No, I don't want that. But otherwise, when you know that that's how you have to manifest, then most people should be working on themselves and saying, hey, that's why I like to, on a regular basis, like, hey, I don't want to argue with anybody, because what am I arguing with you for? My power is my personal power is my personal power, and your personal power is your personal power. And I'm going to make sure that your personal power, or whatever intent that you have against me, that based upon whatever, it's not going to affect me. That's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, rarely will you have somebody, because I think that it's not just your thoughts, because thoughts, it could be a step further to where this is a vision, is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about vision. And yeah. So all that karma they getting. Yeah, you're right. And that's not to say that everybody that got $1 million deserve it, but some people would. That's why they can't just give everybody $1 million. People, you would think that that would be the answer. They could digitally give us all $1 million. Why won't they do it? Because it would cause chaos. It would actually make the world worse, unfortunately, because people that are not ready to understand the manifestation of money, they ain't gonna do nothing but act a fool. They gonna act a fool, okay? And that's why I said it like that. They gonna act a fool. So, they, just kind of stay at the level that you at and just, yeah, stay over there in the sandbox. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, what are you going to do? So that's just what that is. And it's a lot of questions that you can ask spirit. Maybe I need to do. I'm thinking about. I think I'm gonna do some money readings today because people have been asking me about that. People have been asking me about their money, and you got to get a reading. What's the obstacle? What's the obstacle? What is standing in front of what you want? You know. So that is important to understand that, and I believe that the portion of the craft that really helps people out a lot is when you have a spirit attachment. It is so important for you to know what spirits are attached to you. It is so important to know that. And it's also important to know how do you banish those spirits. So that's why the law of attraction, that's why even Reiki is not enough. Right. You got to know what's blocking it. And it could be external things. It could be somebody externally outside of yourself blocking you. It's always a possibility of that. But once you've taken care of that and you know that you've taken care of it because you know, then you have to look at self, okay, how did that affect me? So then you have to look at healing. Okay, I went through this terrible thing. It was awful. Now it's time to heal. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no need in sitting around. I don't know why people choose to sit around and be miserable and confused and stuff instead of, I don't know why people do that, because I don't know. And people get real scared about that. Ooh, we gonna go to hell. You already in hell. Can it get any worse than starving to death? Can it get any worse than being homeless? Can it get any worse than not having a decent pair of socks and shoes on your feet? That's man. You ain't gotta go to hell to be in hell. Hell gonna come to you. Hell done came to everybody. So I don't know why people, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from a witch's perspective though, and I've always felt this way. It was somewhere hidden deep in my consciousness until it was time for it to come out. And it was through an abusive relationship to where I had to be triggered. And I wasn't triggered to set the bed on fire or, nothing like that. No, I was triggered to, say, I'm going to better myself, and get the things that I want out of life. Right. Yep. Yeah, but it's a lot of people that don't even have those necessities. They don't even have that. Then they go, I mean, you can go and buy a $200 pair of shoes online from an online garage sale, or you can go and buy a pair of barely used $200 shoes for $20 online, you know. But a lot of people, like, if you, but if you go to the thrift store to buy your shoes, you could end up with foot fungus or worse. So that's it, being poor is a health hazard. It's not sanitary. You know what I'm saying? It ain't it's dangerous for your health. It ain't good for you to be to, it ain't good. That ain't good for you. So, and the only way you're gonna beat it is with witchcraft. Many, many, many people have tried to do it another way. And the statistics are alarming. We hear about these stories of people that, do things great, but look at the rest of the population not doing so hot. Okay. And they'll tell me, oh, you're going to hell. Well, hey, I'm a party while I'm here. Whatever. you know? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It could happen with new shoes, but shoes that ain't never been worn before that's brand new, you probably ain't gonna get no foot fungus from that. But you go and buy an old pair of funky shoes because that's all you could afford. You might end up with something, no matter, I guess you could take them home and clean them with bleach or whatever. I don't know. It just is not good, man. It's not. So, um, I've never considered myself to be dirt poor. I mean, I think the last job I had before I started my company, I was working from home. It wasn't paying hardly anything. But, the programming that I was under, I was in a comfort zone. And when I decided to get up out of that comfort zone, I ain't looking back because, staying in that comfort zone can limit you from the things that you want. And it's nothing wrong with going for what you want in life. If nobody ever took a leap of faith, nobody would have ever gotten anywhere. Mhm. I love thrift stores. Boy, they be having all kind. Man, I can go to a thrift store and clean up, especially when you're looking for altar stuff and spiritual supplies and stuff. But you got to be careful. I haven't been to a thrift store in over 10 years, believe it or not. I ain't been to one. And I want to go. There's actually a Goodwill over here in Stone Mountain, uh, Georgia, that's really it's a big Goodwill. Boy, I probably go in there and clean up offering bowls and stuff. But if I was to, look at it, because I look at things before I touch them. And if I don't like what I'm getting from looking at it, I will not touch it. I don't touch everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of particular about that. But if I see something that's giving me good vibes, and I touch it and it feels all right, and I ain't feeling like, oh, this is a curse object, because you can find a lot of good tech, antiques and stuff. And I love antique shops and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there ain't no wrong with that, Kinsley's mommy. Going to, it'll definitely uh fluff up that wardrobe, because a lot of the stuff that you get from Walmart, boy, it You know, that stuff get to fade and stuff, and it don't look as good as it did when you first bought it. So yeah, 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 that's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I think that they are really good for stuff like that, or just like old paintings and stuff, you know. Just as long as you check it out, make sure it ain't got no bugs or bed bugs or ticks and stuff in it, you know, which they typically inspect that stuff, but I give it another inspection because I like them old paintings of, just old pictures of scenes and scenery and stuff and landscapes and stuff. I like that kind of stuff, you know. But anyway, and a lot of that stuff comes from people's houses. You never know how much they paid for it. It go to the Goodwill. You may be getting the goods, something that's worth a lot of money for real cheap. There are people that actually go to thrift stores and buy stuff and then resell it. Okay, it's a hustle. Ain't no wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody else probably ain't gonna be willing to go to the thrift store. They ain't got time for that. And they see it, they like, hey, that's nice. I like that. So it's nothing wrong with doing that either, but I think that when it comes to finding your niche, you do have to spend some time working on self. And I do think with, like the way that people are, I think it's a good idea for people to go into stuff by themselves, you know. When was the last time you tried to go into business with a family member and it ended up in disaster? Because so I would do that, but the Goodwills around me ain't that good to resell the stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I really do love thrift stores though. They're very interesting, very neat to go. I go straight to the, little antique area where they got all of the, they may have some china in there, they may have some vintage stuff. I'm like, where's the vintage stuff? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can find that at the thrift stores and stuff. So anyway, and I think even wealthy people do that. Hell, here's the thing about it: people that have a lot of money, they may spend money sometimes on certain things, but people that have a lot of money don't spend a lot of money, if that makes sense. You see a lot of people, they living good and they not worried about no money, but they don't just go out and spend a bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but I mean, I'm sure at some point they did spend money, but once they get themselves to the point where they're like, okay, I got all this expensive stuff, now I'm gonna slow down a little bit. you know I guess it depends. Like I said, when I was working in property management, I worked for this guy was a millionaire, and I knew it because I did his bookkeeping. He owned that property by himself. The high rise, he owned the whole high rise, and I did his bookkeeping, so I knew how much money he was bringing in. And he was a millionaire, and you would never even know how rich this man was because he dressed like a beach bum. He would come to work in the summertime because that's when I worked the summer at that job. I didn't work there long, but he'd come to work and he'd have on, just the kind of like the he didn't dress like he was rich. He didn't, but he was. Hmm. I think that's how I would like to be. the way I've always wanted to be is I wanted to be wealthy and I want to have, prosperity and wealth. But fame really ain't that big of a deal. But for some reason, I feel like fame is stalking me or something. You know? Yeah, that's, oh my God, that's it, girl. How'd you know? You must be a seer. That's exactly how he would dress: flip flops, cargo shorts, and a polo. And it wasn't even nothing brand new. Sometimes, sometimes he didn't even bother to iron his clothes before he came to work. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway. Yeah, I'd rather be wealthy and prosperous than famous. But I feel like fame is kind of, I feel like the spirit of fame kind of stalks me a little bit. And I'm like, oh, no, you know? And if I'm gonna be known for anything, it's gonna be known for being a powerful witch. That's what I'm be known. I put that on Marie Laveau. I love me some Marie Laveau. Oh, really? I don't, you know what? Honestly, I would do it for my business. If somebody were to interview me, like if a TV station was to interview me, I'd do it for my business. But and only for, I would just have to take one for the spirit team is what I would do if they led me towards that. But goodness gracious, yeah, for me it's all about the craft. I live in it. I breathe in it constantly. I just breathe it in every single day. I love everything about it. And I ain't gonna change either. Okay. So anyway, y'all. Yeah, you gotta know how to banish them spirits. Banishing a spirit is really easy, but keeping it out, making sure that you're not inadvertently inviting it back in. And I got a gargoyle out there at the front and on my front porch. And that thing been asking me for offerings too. Cause I like to keep stuff out. When I buy my house, I'm gonna have a big gargoyle. Right now I got that little tiny cat one. I want to get a big gargoyle. Gargoyles are protection. Keep stuff out your house. Yeah, that girl, I had to banish like several of them just last night. Goodness gracious. I did a purification on myself, and it was so weird. Did you get to see that my altar is so beautiful? It's right adjacent to my bed, and I love looking at it. It's so peaceful and so calming, and it's clarifying is what I'll call it. It's purifying and very healing. Yeah, you can do them. It is good to have something by the front door. It is good to have that. Speaking of that, I need to get more brooms because right now I only have two of them, and I keep them upstairs because that's my primary concern is my bedroom. So that's why, because it seemed like stuff is always trying to get into the boudoir for some reason. And y'all know that crystal grid that I did will shut down certain portals and stuff too, portals that you don't want. open. Okay, portals are good, but which portal is it? So that that you're dealing with or whatever. So I'm gonna get me a little pillow to put over there so that I can sit there. It's perfect height for me to meditate and then give my offerings and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, and I think today, baby, I am gonna give my wolves a meat offering today. Is what I'm gonna get because I ain't never gave them meat before. I've always given them milk and cookies and cake. I'm give them a meat offering, a raw meat offering. You didn't see it? I uploaded it. It was a premiere earlier this morning. I put it up. It's called Crystal. I think the name of the video is Crystal and Wolf Protection, Purification, Meditation, Healing Altar Tour. And I was gonna just put it up. I was gonna do I did like a video where I was talking. But then I said, wait a minute, because these iPhones can take pretty good looking pictures. So I went ahead and just did like a little picture, what do they call that? A montage. What do they call that? Like a little picture show of it is what I did. So, mm-hmm. Won't nobody mess with it because we live in an apartment building right now. Yeah. Can you do a live on what spirits and or deities to put up a protection altar for? Um, Honestly, being that I'm a polytheist, I've had many that have made contact with me. And sometimes RTO comes to me. She comes to mind, which she's a bear goddess. Very protective. Very, very protective. I like the animals. I'm a animal totem type of person. So I have a connection with wolves. And that's why I'm doing the I for years and years and years I do a wolf protection every Monday. And I got tired of feeling like I had to gather all this stuff up, so I said let me go ahead and just put it all where I can get to it. And I'll just make their offerings somewhere underneath the table. And when it comes to your offerings, you don't have to leave them out overnight, because a lot of people are like, well, how long do you leave it out? I would say just follow your intuition. You can leave it out for a couple of hours, or either in the evening, go ahead and just throw the offerings out. I stopped putting food outside because it was it was attracting animals to the house. Is that like a thing? She who dances with wolves. Oh, I love my wolves. I swear. I do. They are amazing for empaths and telepaths. Let me tell you, they are. Okay, and among other things. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. And I do love cats too. I have a cat, and I love her. She is amazing. Okay. She keeps stuff out because I'm over here in the woods. If you live in the woods, you can get rodents. So I'm deep in the woods. I'm in a like a overgrown area. The trees are very overgrown in this area. So uh-huh. You never heard of people saying that's their Native American name? No. I have heard of that before, though. I heard that somewhere before. Oh, I love my wolves, man. I do. And on Mondays, I listen to my Native American flute with either the rain or either the wolf instinct, and I just be feeling good. I do. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So it was amazing. I hope that y'all caught the vibes from it, though. It's just really a vibe for real. Later on, later on this afternoon, way late in the afternoon, I'm gonna do probably some readings in front of it, just because I feel very comforted by that altar. Oh, did they? Girl, they be tearing stuff down forever around here. I got so many trees around this house. I'm gonna miss this house when we move. I'm gonna miss this house. I am, seriously. So anyway, yeah, there's no getting around witchcraft. I think I think Michael Jackson told us that. Didn't he have a song where he said you can't get around it, can't get underneath it? He was talking about witchcraft, I believe. And I done got used to it. Oh my God, y'all. Yesterday I had an experience. I don't even want to tell y'all about it. It was weird. I don't know what. Like, I think that thing came out of the blue because I had never seen anything like it before. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not gonna. Something came crawling out from this work I was doing, though. And I had never seen nothing like it before. It was like a caterpillar or something. It was weird looking. It was, and I took it outside. I was like, let me take this outside. I don't know if it came from the box, uh, you know, the package. Maybe it had jumped on the package because my package sat outside for like 3 or 4 hours yesterday because I was asleep when it got delivered. Do I like bookkeeping? No. I've done it. I've done bookkeeping before, but no. I'm lost. I'm lost in the sauce and in witchcraft. As far as like, I do bookkeeping for myself, but just like to just do some bookkeeping. Mm-mm. You mean bookkeeping? Like, what you mean bookkeeping? Like, keeping records and stuff? Is that what you mean? And you know what? I need to go downstairs and get my witchy journal. Come to think of it, I'm gonna go down there and get that because it's downstairs. It just made me want to write stuff in my book. I've been trying to keep record of stuff for the kids, for the kiddos. I've been, oh God, I'm not gonna talk about that. That's too personal, but it's just sad whenever kids lose something of their parents, important memorabilia and stuff. Mm-mm-mm. I'm definitely gonna make sure that my kids get, but I ain't even thinking about stuff like that. But I just, for some reason, I've been thinking about it. Just making sure that the kids know witchcraft for real, for real. Okay. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that's so corrupt." Well, that's because that's just like when it comes to your relationship with money. If you don't have a good relationship with money, then you're more than likely going to fear it or not know or, be ignorant to it. So if all you know about witchcraft is bad things and bad spirits and curses and stuff, if that's all that you know is, oh, somebody trying to do something to me and a witch is trying to do something to me. If that's all you know about it, then, of course you're going to be afraid of it. Good morning, Scorpio. Thinking about doing it because I can do it from home and it doesn't take a bunch of schooling. Oh, being bookkeeper for clients. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Well, that's pretty. That I would get bored with that. I would get bored. My mind is constantly on spirit and the craft. I wish I could do something normal like that. If I were gonna do anything else besides witchcraft, it would be real estate. But otherwise, and every time I get to doing something else, it seemed like a client pop up or something happen. Oh, cool. Well, welcome, Scorpio. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. All right, y'all. I'm going to get off of here. That's my cue. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, man. They have just. I think that what they realizing, though, Kinsley's mommy, because it's been a witch hunt. It's been a witch hunt. It has been. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. It's been absolutely terrible and goofy and weird. Like, what the heck? Because it seems out of place or out of time. You know what I'm saying? The whole witch hunt thing, like, what are you doing? Do you feel like a witch has done you wrong or cursed you? How is attacking random witches going to help you? Or my own business and the skill would be useful. Yep, you're right. You're right, absolutely. And you know what? They give you some money to go to school too. Hmm. I'm too old for school. I ain't trying to do no school. Should I get a book about crystals, herbs, or the Goetia? I say get a book about all three of them. Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. I would definitely, absolutely. Books are good, because you can reference the books. It's just that sometimes you can't, they can't keep them updated or whatever. So it's good to, if you're going to get a book about herbs, to make sure that you replace it with an updated version in a couple of years. I think they have like an encyclopedia of herbs. It'd be interesting to have that. That way you have it right there at your, at your reach. And that's another thing. Certain things I want to get for my house. My grandmother, she had a bookshelf, built-in bookshelf next to her fireplace. I miss my grandmother's house. I need to go visit. Um, she had an encyclopedia set, you know. It's good to have stuff like that. I learned so much from my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? She taught me a lot. You ain't gonna get in trouble with me. What you talking about as far as books? I'm not one of them witches that have an opinion about people that read books about witchcraft or to improve their witchcraft. I'm just saying that sometimes you do have to connect with what works for you. Okay. And you have to be creative. Okay. Everybody's so creative. Okay. Create what you want as long as it does not harm none. I maybe I need to become Wiccan. I like Wiccans. I do. Because, but do I believe that there's going to be some people on this earth that don't deserve a little hex on them? Nope. I used to read the set my mom had. Yeah. Oh, well, you know who? Okay, you say you know who. So I can only get one right now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'd say herbs. I would choose herbs. Mm-hmm. And then next get something about crystals. And then I go into the Goesha. That's how I would do it. But it depends on your situation. I need a book about the Goesha right now. I could use one right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've been studying as much as possible though. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go. I think that a lot of people, when it comes to witchcraft, though, before I go, I'm gonna say this: they prideful. They're very prideful. They're too prideful, and that's what causes the disconnect between them and the craft. Is that they just their pride is on 1 million, and they feel like that I don't and I don't understand this, why the understanding of witchcraft equals peasant to people. I think that must be people that don't know, I guess. I just can't get down with threefold law, and you can't even return the sender with it. So you can't. So is that one of the rules? Oh, okay, well, I think these days it's important. It's important to return to sender. Hello, Shamika. It be giving me the Christianity form of witchcraft. Oh, the threefold law. Yeah, everybody, but I don't believe in that because I mean, what if somebody sends you something that's harmful? You got to send it back. But I think it depends on what it is. Some I don't know. I think that some things you can let slide because it's pure energy. If somebody's sending you energy, but it depends on what they sending you, because I don't believe that some of this stuff can be transmuted. Okay, some things, you just got to say, hey, because I've dealt with energies that can't be transmuted. I have. Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get a few hours of shut eye because I got a lot of stuff to do today. So I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Start getting a better relationship with witchcraft. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. And people be like, oh, if you get into that witchcraft, you're gonna invite all them spirits and stuff in. But the spirits are already there. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean. Spirits are already there. I don't like to have to transit that Kinsley's mommy. That man, hey, I feel you on that. I don't like to have to transmute too much negativity. Mm-mm. Because them transmutation bottles that I did, they already looking kind of funky. Like, God dang. Yeah, too much negativity is too much to transmute. That make it harder. Transmutation versus other stuff, that you can do to manifest. Because, of course, it's energy. Of course, it's energy. It's energy. But to me, it's still. So I think you should do that. I think you should work on transmutation. There's a couple of transmutation goddesses too. All that having to purify and neutralize and hmm. You can do that with your candles though. Red, green and purple, black, red and green. Those are very powerful colors to transmute negativity. You accidentally manifested a pregnancy for someone. Oh, well, that's nice. That's so sweet. I hope whoever that is has a good pregnancy. I've been looking at, for some reason, I've been getting a lot of videos in my feed with where these little bitty tiny newborns. Oh my God, I just love little bitty newborns. But they do the newborn scrunch, or they call it the scrunch, where you pick the baby up and they, you know, kind of fold their legs up and arch their little backs. It's so cute. Oh, well, that's so sweet. That's so nice of you. I'm sure she's very happy. That's so sweet. Ain't nothing like being a mom. Such a amazing experience. It really is. Oh, you got baby fever, grabbing. I think I'm gonna have baby fever the rest of my life. I'm just one of them kind of people. I can't help it. I'm a cancer. I'm gonna be 70 years old. Talking about I wouldn't mind getting pregnant again. Knowing dang well when I'm 70, I'm way too old. Oh my Lord. That's one of my favorite things is every time I was pregnant, I loved it. I loved being pregnant. It was amazing. Definitely not gonna be getting pregnant at 70. No, no, no. Okay, y'all. All right, I gotta go. Y'all have a good week. Make sure you go look at that video though, Kinsley's mommy. If y'all missed it, it's it's such a vibe. It really is. Yeah. I couldn't imagine being pregnant at all the past several years. No. Because when I get pregnant, I have to sleep. I get so tired when I'm pregnant, but it don't be bad tired. It be good tired. I be getting the best sleep in the world. I just be sleep. When I was pregnant with Jacob, that was a decade ago. But when I was pregnant with him, I took off. I was working for a company, and I took some, what do they call that? I did like a disability type of thing. Boy, I was sleeping. Oh my God, I slept so much. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sleepy. Goodness gracious. I would just, man, it's a lot of sleeping and peeing and peeing, sleeping and peeing. Oh man, it's terrible. And people are really crazy too, Kinsley's mommy. They be watching people and stuff, and it's like, what are you looking at? Why are you watching me? Like goodness gracious. They paying so much attention to the witches though, that all the bad people is getting away with murder. they Oh my goodness. They hear about somebody, a mass murderer, especially religious people. They be like, well, you see, I can't worry about the flesh. Wait a minute, what? We battling against principalities and spiritualities, and I think you need to go and play vigilante with some real bad folks. Seriously, because a lot of us witches, we keep the balance. Some witches mess up the balance. Some people that are practicing, they just completely throw off. Everything be throwed off. Everything be weird and goofy. But a lot of us witches, we maintain the balance. You have an open defects case because you're vegan. Oh no. Oh no. Uh. So the baby's vegan too. Your daughter's vegan too. Okay. Well, I wish you the best on that. Mm. And then, I would ask you what state you're in. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. So yeah, I know it's been a lot of controversy surrounding vegan kids. Oh, okay, you in Louisiana. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Uh, yeah, it's been a lot of controversy around that, but as long as she's growing and thriving and you know not malnourished, she should be fine. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna go. All right, good luck with everything, Kinsley's mommy. I'll see all of y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Have a good week. All right, guys, bye.